Hey everyone, this is Sean back with From Noob to Nerd. This is part 7 of my video series. Today we're going to look at my first big project that I worked on. I designed a game of bingo online, so that's pretty cool. Take a look at that. In addition, I want to show some of the smaller things I've worked on, some of the smaller homeworks, smaller little assignments that I've had to do. Before I show those off, I want to talk a bit about what was involved in those though. So one of the things we were introduced to was APIs, and that stands for Application Programming Interface. And without realizing it, this is used all the time. Every piece of software or application pretty much uses an API, and we don't even realize it unless you kind of know what it is. So I'm going to read you the definition I found. Let's take a look. It is a set of routines, protocols, and tools for building software applications. Doesn't help too much. The way it was described to me is essentially just a way for two pieces of software to talk to each other and get the desired information from one back to the other. I like examples. Examples help me learn. So let's think about an API utilized as an example. So let's say I want to build a weather app or a weather website where one of my users can go to my site and say, what's the weather in Las Vegas today? I don't have, as a person starting a website or starting my own little weather app, I likely won't have the resources available to get all that information on my own. You know, I won't be able to call someone in Las Vegas or say some small town in Nebraska I've never heard of. I don't have those resources. But somewhere like weather.com or Weather Underground will. And what's really cool about that is Weather Underground has an API, which is essentially just a collection of all their data and makes it accessible to developers that want to access their data and utilize it for their own purposes. So I could have my user enter in, Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'll save their search, I'll save their query, send it out to Weather Underground's API, get the data I want, and be able to return it and display it on my own website. So that's basically what an API does. It gets other people's information and allows you to use it in however way you want. I used Weather Underground as an example because I actually did go and use their API. This was my first real delve into using APIs and making my own site. It's very, very basic, pretty ugly looking, but let's take a look and see kind of how that's used.
Okay, here's my assignment using Weather Underground's API. So kind of like I mentioned before, if I type in a city, let's say Denver, what state is it in? Colorado, and click enter, it's going to get me all the information that I want displayed from Weather Underground's database and display it on my screen here. So let's see. All right, we get the zip code of Denver, the weather, temperature, so on and so on, whatever information we were told to get. And you can see this picture pops up. It says partly cloudy, so there's some partial clouds. That was something I added in later. Let's say we want to look up San Francisco, California. It just goes immediately to Weather Underground's database, enters in this information, gets it. Again, so the design isn't great here, but that wasn't the practice of this particular assignment. Yeah, you can see how it returns the results almost immediately, and I didn't have to do anything except call Weather Underground's API and say, hey, this is the information I want, send it back to me. And you can see from the code, right? So my query, that's just what I'm sending out. The link I'm going to is Weather Underground, and the conditions are I want the state input from the user and the city input from the user. So it sends that and then goes out and gets that information for me and returns it in a way that I can make useful. So pretty cool stuff. This was a fun little homework assignment we had to do where we had to utilize Marvel, utilize their API. And so it's pretty cool. You can see from here, you can get information about characters, comics, and say you want to get characters, you can get all this information about them. Specifically here for your character, you can get their ID, their name, description, picture about them, so on and so on. So our goal was to ask the user what they wanted, a character or the comic they were in. So let's say we want characters, and it says enter character. That's not a coincidence. That was actually a lot of work to get that to match. But so let's say we want to look up Hulk. We click get your info. Boom. The name pops up, character ID, description, and picture. Now again, you'll notice all these things were options, so we had to be very specific in what we told the Marvel API we wanted to get back. And what we wanted to display here. So it's kind of cool how you get these two programs talking to each other. Now let's take a look at the comics. Very similar idea. It says enter comic. Let's say we want to see what pops up for Avengers. Get Avengers. Everything that has Avengers in the title will pop up. And again, we wanted these specific bits of information, ID number, pages, picture, price, so on. So pretty cool. It was fun to access their API and just kind of see it's not all serious stuff out there. There's really cool things that utilize APIs such as Marvel, and you can build all sorts of cool things based on the information you can get from them. Here's the last use of an API that I'll show for this video. In this one, what we wanted to do was get some information from another website where they pick out color palettes for you, things that will work well together, colors that will just kind of look nice together. So since I don't have an eye for that, what I did was use their predetermined color palettes and have them displayed for my user whenever they click me here. So user clicks, 5 colors are displayed. If you like them, you can click them and save them. So let's say we like these 3 colors, it goes here. And then I click this button again, it goes again to that outside, I forget which website we used or which API we used, but it goes to that API and gets a random color palette from them and then displays it here and tells you what colors they are so they could use them. So let's say we really like these ones, and then we click this one by accident, we click it and get rid of it. But yeah, so now we have all these saved colors with their values, and I didn't have to do any work. All I had to do was go call and get this data from another outside website, and then it gets returned and displayed here. All right, here's my bingo game. Here's my completed first project in all of its beautiful, aesthetically pleasing glory. So I joke about that. I know it's not the most pretty and easy to look at site, but that wasn't my focus. My focus primarily was get a bingo game working, have something that looks like bingo, plays, feels like bingo, and so on. So there were a few components that made that happen. First and foremost was there had to be able to be a winner. So that was something I spent a lot of time on. And before that happens, we got to click to start and populate the board. So this was the first challenge, was making sure that these numbers came in the right columns. So again, I want it to look like bingo. In bingo, the B column only has numbers 1 through 10. The I column is 11 through 20, so on and so forth. Okay, and you'll notice player 1's board is different than player 2. Again, a pretty crucial aspect to playing bingo and determining a winner. The next thing was making sure that when a ball came up, that box became clickable. So you'll notice I can click on 27. If I try to click on 33 or anything else, they're not clickable. All right. So we have a randomly generated ball here. We have 27, and that ball popped up here as well, and you'll see in a sec. So here's our next ball, and then we have still our collection of all the balls that came up. All right, so 24 is clickable. Let's say we click a few at a time. So now 32 is still clickable. If we find it, 12 is still clickable, and so on and so forth. What that allows for is if, say, you want to get a whole bunch of balls out there in one shot, you can. So that way you don't have to take, strictly turn-based moves and, take forever to play. So that's how the game looks and feels. And then let's see if you try to click bingo before, you don't have it. You don't have bingo yet. Relax. But let's see what happens. I'm going to get all the balls out there. And again, the most important thing was be able to have a winner, right? Or else what's the point of playing? So let's say we got player 1. He clicks bingo, or she, and it says player 1 wins, player 2 loses. So it does have that feel of somebody winning. And one last thing that was kind of cool is it kind of is responsive to the size of the window. So if I shrink this, right, things might get a little bit out of whack, but you can still see the full board. There's no scrolling left to right. And that was kind of a cool thing that I enjoyed making it work. But yes, that's my bingo game. If you want to play it, I don't know why you would. Bingo is not the most fun game ever, but you can check it out. I'll put a link down below in the information. Let me know what you think.
All right, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you really feel like getting your bingo on, the link is down below. So you can feel free to check that out. Other than that, our next project gets assigned this week, so I've got another big project to work on. This one's going to be utilizing an API, getting some other sources data, making it come to life, and pretty excited about that coming from a math background. So we'll see how that comes out. But yeah, other than that, let me know if you have any thoughts, comments, questions. I'm happy to answer anything I can, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.